Hello and happy Back to the Future Day. Another video here for you today. And speaking of back in the past or to the future, these are the retro no cap recaps of The Curse of Oak Island Season 3, Episodes 10, 11, 12, and 13. Originally aired in January and February 2016. If you missed my recaps of previous episodes, there's a link in the upper right. Let's get into it. Previously on The Curse of Oak Island, people have been looking for an incredible treasure for 228 years. Episode 10 opens with a failed dive attempt due to non-working communications. They plan to dive the next day, but that is canceled as well due to another issue with the helmet that can't be fixed in a timely fashion, so the dive is postponed until further notice. Rick and Jack go metal detecting on the Nolan property. Previously, Fred had shown Rick the headstone found at the intersection point of the vertical and horizontal lines of Nolan's cross. Rick points out where it looks like the boulder has been chiseled to more closely resemble a human head. Other smaller stones have been found surrounding the cross, representing points in the tree of life from the Hebrew Bible. This could be further evidence that what is on Oak Island is of religious significance. Rick and Jack find a pulley buried 6 inches down in front of the left arm stone on the northern shore of the island. There is a possibility that it was much deeper in the past, but that erosion over 500 years has done some of the digging already. 4 days later, Harvey and his team try to dive 10x again. He gets into the 27-inch section but tears his suit and has to end the dive. He says as soon as he got into the smaller section, it went completely black. He says he doesn't know if it's possible to do this with scuba gear, but will discuss it with his team. Later, Charles has brought this Roman sword to the war room. It's a ceremonial gladius found in the 1940s in Mahone Bay near Oak Island. They have an expert look at it that thinks it's a reproduction but still could be an older item. To get an analysis of it, he puts the team in touch with Dr. Christopher Brousseau, who I think has been visited in every season since then. The tests reveal that it's a post 1890 brass, so just a reproduction. Back on the island, Dan Hinsky, Jack Bigley, and Peter Fernetti are looking for eelgrass, which decomposes faster and therefore would give a more accurate date than they previously found and tested coconut fiber, both used to provide filtration for the French drains so that they didn't get blocked. The coconut fiber was carbon dated between 1260 and 1400 AD. They find clumpy layers of something and think that it may be decayed eelgrass. It was. And that eelgrass tested between 1470 to 1650. The team has found a replacement diver in world-renowned John Chatterton, who has dived on the Britannic, the Lusitania, the Andrea Doria, and the Titanic in his 30 years of experience. They will use umbilicals instead of tanks, which will give him more room in the 27-inch section, and he assures Rick that he can tell if a cavern is natural or man-made despite zero visibility. The next theorists that visit the war room believe that the money pit was constructed only as a diversion and that the real treasure vault could be found 30 feet below the surface at the intersection of a line from the stone triangle on the south shore and a line drawn between 2 marked stones north of the money pit. While walking the true north line from the stone triangle, which was said to go right through the original money pit, Jack discovers this drilled rock. X marks the spot on a depression in the ground. The team once more thinks that they have hit the side of a box, same as last year when they pull up a small piece of vertical wood. Drilling further down does not pull up any more wood, though. Episode 12 begins with forced air drilling just north of the spot in the money pit area where they drilled into what they think is the chapel vault. The new borehole is called C1 because Charles Barkhouse picked the spot. This graphic is not from the episode, but I wanted to show where C1 is in relation to the garden shaft, where much of the focus has been the past few seasons, seasons 9 and 10. The first air causes objects to be sent up and into the collection bag. And from the trough below the bag, in spoils from about 100 feet down, Rick finds a bunch of wood pieces, and Charles finds this piece of darker wood. Rick says Dan always told him black wood that smells foul is very old. At 160 feet down, they hit bedrock. At 171 feet, the drill drops very fast until 192 feet, indicating a 21-foot high void, perhaps a cavern. Jack Metal detects spoils from the trough and finds this tiny piece of metal that looks like Oak Island. Rick says it has a sheen to it, and Charles says it has 3 lines on it. Relatives of Maynard Kaiser, who in 1897 became the second victim of the alleged curse of Oak Island, visit the island. Rick shows them the money pit area, explains that the water comes from Smith's Cove, but there is also believed to be a back door somewhere, and also shows them the memorial Dan Blankenship placed on the other side of the causeway. The team shows diver John Chatterton the sonar wireframe model, showing the locations of the tunnels, the 2 vertical columns, the box-shaped anomaly, and the human remains. The episode ends with the dive finally happening and John having difficulty moving beyond the wedge drill bit in the 27-inch wide segment, and his hose gets hung up. He does manage to continue like the world-class diver he is. The season finale starts with the rest of the dive into borehole 10X. John is able to move around and explore a tunnel, but this is the best visibility of anything shown on the screen from down there. He says that the walls are a mixture of rock and clay and feel crumbly. He says he had to crawl into the tunnel. The war room debriefing was indeed what Rick called sobering. John located just 1 post, not 2 that cameras and sonar had detected. Also, where the box was supposed to be was just a heavy rock as shown in his drawing, and the sonar data side by side. He thinks the sonar image of the body was a result of the floor being sunken in that shape. When asked if he thought the cavern was man-made, John said he would say that it's a natural formation. 3 direct descendants of Daniel McInnes, who along with 2 friends discovered the money pit in 1795, visit the island. Rick and Charles show them the money pit area, and one asks what Rick says many people ask, where's the tree? Referring to the tree above the money pit that a pulley was hanging from. It was likely cut down in the very early days of the treasure search. They are also shown the McGinnis House Foundation pictured here. Charles says that when the province was doing tours in the 1970s, 2 workers reached into the foundation and pulled out a gold chain. Next, they are shown the visitors center, but then they say they have something to show Rick and Charles. In the war room, the team gathers to see what it is. Joan McInnes says they were told as children that Daniel and his friends found 3 treasure chests. Daniel, Smith, and Vaughn each took one. In Daniel's chest was this cross, passed down through the generations. Joan said a jeweler she took it to said it could be 500 years old. To end the season, they put a camera down borehole C1 to investigate that 21-foot high void in the bedrock at 171 feet. Visibility in the silty water isn't good, but they do see this embedded in the anhydrite bedrock wall. And Rick says, that's your gold color. While waiting for the season 11 premiere of The Curse of Oak Island on November 7th, I'll continue recapping seasons 1 through 8, most likely multiple episodes per video, just like this one. Upcoming streams in just a few hours, I'll be doing Ramsey Coach with Coach Steve Money. That is most Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Preempted to Sundays if there's a Ohio State Buckeyes game on, OH, or Washington Commanders game on Saturday night, which that for the NFL, I don't think that happens until December. Other streams, the Ramsey Show after show shows. There are 2 coming up. Thursday, October 26th, right after the Ramsey Show video on YouTube ends at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 Central. And at that same time on either the 9th, 10th, or 11th of November. I'm not sure which day of those. One of those 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, I'll be off. Once again, I'm Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And if you've got money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free, yes, free financial coaching consultation / assessment with me at calendly.com/Coach Steve Money. And that appointment is done through video conferencing. Probably Google Meet. That's what I normally use. So that can be done from anywhere in the world. That link is also in the description. You can email me about coaching or anything on my YouTube channel at CoachSteveMoney@gmail.com. Channel donations can go to paypal.me/CoachSteveMoney. You can add me on the ground at Coach Steve Money. And of course, this YouTube channel is youtube.com/CoachSteveMoney. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment.